Mululi Mudenda workshop. Today is our second session on purpose. We'll be looking at times and seasons, being able to look at the different seasons in our lives and looking for those opportune moments in which we walk and fulfill our purpose. The concept of time only exists in our realm. God created time and lives out of it, just like the creator of the television doesn't live in the television, always subject to its rules or principles. Isaiah 57:15 says this, "Thus saith the high and exalted one, who inhabits eternity." God dwells in eternity. Time is a disruption in eternity. Time is a finite point, a finite place in eternity. Isaiah 46:10 says, declaring the end from the beginning. He sees the end from the beginning because time dwells in him. Time is but a fragment of eternity. God dwells in that realm. John 1:3 says, through him all things were made. Everything exists in him. Ephesians 1:23 says, he fills everything in every way. So everything exists through God, by God, in God. The fullness of him who fills everything in every way. Genesis 21 introduces us to El Olam, translated the everlasting God. The Hebrew word olam is related to the word alam, which means unknown or concealed. So olam speaks of timelessness, present, past, and future. Jesus calls himself the Alpha and the Omega, or the A and Z in English. He doesn't call himself the Alpha to Omega or the A to Z because he exists at both points at the same time. To Moses, God calls himself Asher. I am who I am, or I will be who I will be. In Exodus chapter 3, the self-existent one, the timeless one. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1. For everything there is a season and a right time for every purpose under the heavens. The Bible is very clear about definite times and seasons. Everything that exists has an optimal time to fulfill its purpose. Everything that exists under the heavens has a purpose and a time. Time allows you to fulfill your purpose. It's the opportunity to train, to master, and acquire skills that aid you in the fulfillment of purpose. Time is the opportunity to make decisions and choices that determine eternity. The Bible is clear. Time exists only under the heavens. For everything there is a season and the right time under the heavens. Acts 7:17 reads, now as the time of the promise which God assured Abraham was approaching, the people, the Egyptians, increased and multiplied in Egypt. In Genesis chapter 15, God promised Abraham that after 400 years of slavery in Egypt, his descendants would be delivered, their slave masters punished, and they would leave Egypt with great wealth. Acts 17:20 continues, at this time Moses was born and was beautiful to God. At what time? At the time of the promise for deliverance of the children of Israel, them delivered from bondage. We operate in God's timetable. God brought Moses into time to be a deliverer for Israel. At that period of time, he was relevant to his generation. Esther was reminded by her uncle Mordecai that she had come into royalty for such a time as this. Esther's actions saved all the Jews from total annihilation or being wiped out off the face of the planet for such a time as this. You're relevant to your generation. Acts 13:36. For David, after he had served God's purpose in his generation, fell asleep. You are relevant to your generation. Two words are translating time from the Greek. The first word is chronos, which is your tick-tock time or your sequential time. This is where we get words like chronograph or chronometer, which are devices, basically devices that tell you how to measure time. The second word translated time is kairos. Kairos speaks of an appointed time, an opportune time. It speaks of a moment where your actions are guaranteed success. Kairos speaks of a season where the outcomes are guaranteed. A farmer sows in a certain season, guaranteed that he will reap bountifully, because that season is favorable for the crop he or she has sowed. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1 again. For everything there is a season, a kairos moment, and I do. Kairos is being at the right place at the right chronos, the right place at the right time. Galatians 4:14 says this. But when the appointed time arrived, God sent forth his son, born of a woman, born under the law. Esther 4:14. This is Mordecai sending a message to Esther. For if you keep silent at this time, liberation and rescue will arise for the Jews from another place. Mordecai was essentially saying, this is your season, your kairos moment, your meeting with destiny. Take advantage of the season. Otherwise, God will use someone else, because his purposes will always prevail. The Bible tells us in 1 Chronicles 12:32, speaking of the tribe of Issachar, men who had understanding of the times to know what Israel ought to do. Your kairos moment demands that you know what to do in that season, like the tribe of Issachar, who understood the seasons and what to do. Jesus said in Matthew 24:32, now learn the parable of the fig tree. As soon as its branches have become tender and sprouts its leaves, you know that summer is near. So recognize an upcoming season. Jesus said in Matthew 24:43, if the head of the house had known what time of the night the thief was coming, he would have been alert and would have not allowed his house to be broken into. Like the saying goes, fortune favors the prepared. In our next session, I will share how to prepare and how to hone your skills. Seasons are cyclic in nature, they come and go. You will experience many seasons in your lifetime, many opportunities, but your time is limited, so don't waste time. The Apostle Paul in Ephesians 5:16 writes, redeeming the times because the days are evil. Regaining or buying back those kairos moments, those missed seasons, those missed opportunities. Redeeming is transactional. You have to lose something to gain something. Redeeming is sacrificial in nature. Cut something out of your life to gain something that has eternal value. So in this session we've learned, God does not live in time. He created time, but lives out of it. He inhabits eternity. God created you and me and placed us in time for a very specific assignment. We also learned your choices and decisions in time determine your eternity. Time is limited, eternity is forever. So make choices that align you with God, our Creator. We learned seasons exist in time, cyclic opportunities that allow us to make choice decisions, kairos moments. Like the tribe of Issachar, we need to recognize these seasons and know what to do in them. In our next session, we'll be looking at preparation and sharpening our skills in pursuit of our purpose and in fulfilling our purpose. So if you like this content, please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.